Hello, everybody. I hope this finds you safe and well. Welcome to our information session this afternoon. And this is your space to find out more about our new leadership programme funded by the National Lottery Community Fund. For those of you who haven't met before, I'm Nora and I work with CO3 and have done for just shy of 7 years now, believe it or not. We've had a great response to the programme, and for us, what's really important is that the 30 leaders that we select and work with on this programme, that they're walking into it with their eyes wide open, understanding the possibilities that it presents, and also recognising that the commitment is involved. So my two outcomes that I have for everyone in our virtual room today is to have a clear understanding of the commitment that is involved in the programme and a clear understanding of the opportunity this programme presents. And obviously for the first session, we're focusing on our mentors, but a lot of information that I'm giving today is both relevant to both mentors and mentees. So of course the focus, and hopefully you're able to see my PowerPoint presentation. The focus of our new leadership programme is on building the financial resilience of leaders in our sector. And how we propose to do this is through a tailored mentoring programme coupled with a range of training programmes and also creating a culture of learning and sharing with the wider cohort over an 18-month timeframe. So just some housekeeping before we start. For those of you who are not familiar with the Remo platform, on your right-hand side, you'll see the chat function, a list of participants and the Q&A. So also when we're not in present mode, you have the opportunity to network and you can move around your tables. If you want to move from the table you're currently on, you just hover over a table and double click and you'll pop up like Doctor Who. We will be recording the session today, though we're just going to be recording this part, the presentation part. The conversations at the tables will not be recorded. So as I'm walking you through the details of the programme, please feel free to add any comments that you have in the chat function and any questions that you have in the Q&A, and we'll hopefully be able to address all of those before the end of our session today. We've allowed an hour, but it may not take the full hour, which I'm sure you'd be pleased to hear. I'm also going to be using PowerPoint, so if I'm not always looking at you, it's because I'm referring to the PowerPoint presentation. And you can make the slides bigger by clicking on the 4 arrows shaped in the square on the right-hand side above the PowerPoint presentation, if that makes it easier, if you're anything like me and have to squint to see. So we'll make a start by providing a quick overview of why we feel this programme is needed, though hopefully most of you will have a good idea of the context, given that you're living and breathing this in your own leadership roles. From our perspective, income generation, it's the lifeblood of our sector. If we don't have funding in place, our doors close and services stop. And it's without a shadow of a doubt the biggest challenge our sector is facing, and that is around financial pressures. It's top of the charts for most chief executives, the constant worry about making ends meet. And this was, it's more relevant now, but even before the pandemic hit, there are a significant number of organisations and leaders who are constantly in a state of vulnerability because of their financial position. They're living year to year with funding cuts and funding uncertainty, and recognising that something needs to change, something quite dramatic needs to change, but they don't have the right time or the right support to move it any further. And of course, a large part of this has been driven by the external environment. We have, as a sector, have a high reliance on public sector funding. And unfortunately, the nature of public sector funding is mostly short-term. It's tied to specific project outputs. It doesn't always cover indirect costs. And therefore, it can be difficult to adequately invest in our people and systems. And over time, that takes its toll. There's also the bureaucracy attached to public sector funding, the admin, and the lack of flexibility to make changes. And, it has created power imbalances between the funder and funded. And of course, this is against a backdrop of a marked increase in demand for services. So, for many, you're looking at years of funding cuts with no uplifts. And for many, then, they're delivering services that are not based on full cost recovery. And of course, then this becomes a vicious cycle of short-term underfunding, and that paints a picture of an under-resourced sector, and with against a difficult fundraising environments, which is surrounded by prolonged uncertainty, and having that high reliance on one or two sources of income, which quite a number of members are finding themselves in. It places them in a very vulnerable position. And of course, then COVID has exposed organisations who have a high reliance on community and event fundraising as well. And then I recognise that there's something additional that they need to do. And just overall, the pandemic has just created this whole new layer of uncertainty that we're trying to lead and navigate through. So for us, supporting resilience and providing support to help leaders find creative ways out of the crisis are becoming key issues, so that the programme feels very timely and relevant. And I suppose it's important to recognise as well that it's not all bad news. There are some encouraging signs. There are opportunities emerging for sector leaders to help shape the recovery landscape and to start different conversations and to build new and stronger cross-sectoral relationships. We also have dormant accounts, which recently opened a £20 million funding pot, which will be multi-year as well, and that's focused on building sustainability and capacity. So for us, the timing of that has worked really well for the timing of this particular programme, because with the mentees, if there are opportunities, well, hopefully there will be quite a few opportunities that they will identify, and they recognise that there's more support that's needed, then the opportunity to apply for dormant sits alongside of this as well. So down to the details of the programme and how it's going to work. So over an 18-month time frame, we will select up to 30 leaders to lead them on a journey of transformation, transforming their income model. Ultimately, we believe we can improve the offer to the third sector through the development of a tailored mentoring programme that is focused on providing leaders with a mentor over an 18-month period in order to develop and enhance their fundraising and income generation skills. Through this programme of intensive and tailored support, we will build the income generation skills of leaders, raising their confidence and ultimately the financial resilience of their organisation. As far as I'm aware, this is the first programme of its kind in Northern Ireland, in our region here, and offers that tailored support, starting with the production of an income generation strategy. Each mentee will be assigned a mentor to step them through the development of their and implementation of the income generation strategy for their organisation. Alongside that, they will have access to a range of different training programmes designed to offer expertise and experiences from a range of different sources. And we also want to create a culture of learning and sharing. We recognise that there's going to be power in the fact that we will have up to 45 leaders that will be going through this programme together, the 15 odd mentors and the 30 mentees. So there'll be an opportunity to come together to share experiences and reflections and to share some practical advice and motivation with one another. And then at the end of the 18-month programme, the mentee becomes a mentor. So everything that they've learned through on their journey, 18 months with their mentor and with the wider group, then they have an opportunity of paying forward and sharing everything they've learned with a new mentee. So we have 6 high-level outcomes, and I'll go through those really, really quickly in terms of what we want to achieve. We want to build and strengthen the income generation skills of leaders in the third sector, to build and strengthen the sustainability and resilience of charities in Northern Ireland, thereby protecting key services they provide. The development and implementation of an income generation strategy, building confidence, capacity and knowledge of up to 30 leaders over an 18-month time frame. Each mentee will carry out a strategic audit of their charity and activities relating to income generation. So as well as looking externally, it's really important to look internally into the organisation as well, in terms of the financial management and their expenditure, and are they achieving value for money. The creation of a longer term view to income generation within the charity sector, and for us cultivating that culture of generous leadership through the development of a mentoring programme which is based on giving forward. So our hope an ambition for this programme is that this becomes part and parcel of the offer for CO3. So this isn't just a 4 and a bit year programme that we're involved in. For us, this is an opportunity for the CO3 members to get involved in year on year. So this is an opportunity for transformational change whilst growing the leadership skills of those involved. And what's really important to stress is this isn't going to be window dressing. This is an opportunity for real change. Therefore, the recruitment and selection of our mentors and mentees is going to be fundamental to the success of our programme. We will recruit leaders, CEOs and senior management level who have the support of the board and the broader leadership, who see this programme as an opportunity to change, to bring in new sources of income and to maximise existing income streams. Leaders who recognise the need to change and have the appetite for risk and courage to make changes which will ultimately result in a more financially sound model for their organisation. We're already oversubscribed for the programme, which we had anticipated. So for us, the criteria that we'll use to select our mentees will include prioritising leaders and organisations based on their appetite to change and their appetite to risk, because this will take some courage, and for us it's really important as well that we have the full commitment of the individuals and the organisations involved as well. We will be prioritising leaders of smaller organisations who could not afford to buy in the support, and that's something that the National Lottery had really stressed to us. And of course, we'll try to be as representative as possible in terms of subsector and geography as well. But being realistic, this is a small sample group. For me, the number one priority will be there to test the commitment of the individuals and making sure that the leadership team and the board are completely signed up to this programme and see the opportunities that are available to them as part of the programme. Again, equally, the selection of our mentors is going to be of equal importance. And as part of the application process, I had reached out to some of you in the room about becoming potential mentors. And for us, what's really important is selecting mentors who've lived experience of building a more sustainable income model for their own organisations, and mentors who are innovative, creative, and who are willing to take the time to download all of their experiences, to share their context, their connections, and to offer that positive challenge function that will be needed at times throughout this programme in order to shift mindsets, and encourage change. So for many of you in this room, you live and breathe your jobs, and sometimes it's hard to see what's under your nose. So the benefit of bringing in mentors to support mentees that have fresh eyes, have fresh thinking, have new ideas, will be invaluable. So in terms of our mentor profile, this is what I've listed in terms of the particular experience, and many of you in the room will have experience in all of these areas and in some of these areas: social entrepreneurship, contract tendering, corporate partnerships, legacies, big gift campaigns, grant making, and foundations, and individual giving. What's fundamental is selecting leaders who, despite a difficult external environment, have developed an income model for their organisations that places them on a more sustainable basis for their organisation, ensuring a more stable environment. So that will be fundamental for us. And of course, we recognise as well that the mentees are going to need a mixture of support. So the mentees, the potential mentees that I have spoken to about this programme, already some of them have some ideas about a potential social enterprise, but as they continue on their journey, they may also recognise that there's an opportunity maybe around legacy or individual giving, and that mentor may not have that particular area of expertise, but there'll be other mentors that will be part of that bank that we can draw in their experience and expertise as and when it's appropriate. The mentors will have an opportunity to mentor either one or two mentees, depending on their availability. And we anticipate that each mentoring session will last about 2 hours per month over the 18-month time frame. Of course, we're not going to be prescriptive, and we recognise that there may be more time that's needed at the start of the process or at a particular time, given what the particular experiences are. So so it will ultimately even out. So over the 18-month time frame, we reckon about 2 hours per month for each mentee. And of course, we're going to be in the background, touching in with both mentors and mentees to make sure that you have the right support. And the matching process is going to be critical to this. We're being really fortunate in that we've been running our own leadership mentoring program now for 13 years, and we recognise that matching process is going to be fundamental. So what we'll be doing and what we'll be considering as part of that matching will be, we've asked all of our potential mentees to fill in a register of interest form. We'll be having informed conversations with the mentors and mentees. And we've organised a meet and greet session for mentors and mentees to get together before the match, and we'll be seeking your feedback as well as part of that. And of course, the matching process will consider any conflicts of interest. So if we happen to match you with your sister-in-law or brother-in-law, then we'll have to rethink. And then obviously any professional conflicts of interest. Ultimately, the relationship between the mentor and the mentee will be driven by the mentee. So the mentor is there to support, to suggest, to encourage. The action and the deliverables will ultimately rest with the mentee and with the wider leadership team within their organisation. And for us, it is about building a community of learning and support. So as a mentor, there isn't an expectation that you have a magic wand and are able to solve all the problems for your mentee or mentees. There is that opportunity to access the wider group for experience and practical advice. So you'll have the monthly meetings between mentors and mentees. We're also going to organise virtual meetups for the wider cohort to come together at different points as well. And that is an opportunity to share your experiences and to offer your reflections and just to keep you motivated on your journey. And of course, then access to the mentor pool. So I'm conscious that maybe not all of our mentors will be matched initially, but with their permission, they'll be on the bench. So as and when then if we need a particular experience and expertise in a particular field, we can call upon that and bring in a mentor to support the mentee with a couple of additional mentoring sessions. And then, of course, access to a wide range of training programs. So there's 2 that we have set up. Excuse me, starting with the development of an income generation strategy. And Roger Courtney is going to be delivering that. And that's essentially your blueprint, how you're going to develop your income generation strategy, and then how you're ultimately going to implement that with the support of your mentor over an 18-month journey. We've also organised a training programme looking at carrying out a financial analysis of your charity. And it was through a couple of conversations that I had with a couple of potential mentors, and they had said that whenever they went into their organisations, that for them the internal review was as important as looking at the external opportunities as well. There's potentially tens of thousands of pounds that could be saved due to how you're managing your expenditure. So that particular training programme early on will be really important. And then ultimately the mentees become the mentor. So everything that our mentors learn throughout this 18-month period will be shared then with as a mentor with a mentee that they'll be assigned in 18 months' time. So it gives them an opportunity to reinforce everything that they have learned as part of this program. So in terms of key dates, so the plan is that by the 19th of February we have up to 30 mentees and recruited approximately 20 more mentors. We'll organise a meet and greet session. So this is prior to the matching on the 24th of February. And then by the 5th of March, you will be matched with your mentee. And prior to that, we will provide each mentor and mentee with a summary profile just to ensure that there isn't anything that we've missed. Then we've got the income generation strategy training program, which we will be rolling out on the 11th of March, and both mentors and mentees have access to that. We've also organised 2 information workshops. We're saying 2 hours, but it probably won't take that long. And again, that's an opportunity for all of the mentors to come together and just to understand what your roles and responsibilities are as part of this programme, and to make sure that our mentors have the right support that they need. For our mentees, again, it's just for them to understand their roles and responsibilities. And ultimately, the responsibility will sit with the mentee in terms of driving change within their organisation. The mentors are to hold their hand and support them as much as possible on this journey. And then by the 22nd of March, the mentoring relationships will commence. And the expectation is that initially you will meet monthly. And again, how frequent that is in that initial period will be down to the mentor and the mentee, and we'll be there in the background for regular check-ins. And then that's the second training program that we are planning to run out, the financial analysis of your charity. And again, that training is available for both mentors and mentees. And we also have a budget for additional training, but rather than us deciding what training the mentees need, we want to co-design that with the wider cohort, for you to come to us and say, I really think that we would benefit from a training program on digital fundraising, or on legacy, or on social entrepreneurship, whatever it may be. So there's a budget there, but we want to wait and see what the needs are of the cohort before we go ahead. And then, of course, there'll be a range of touch points that will bring the mentors and the mentees together. So the 29th of June and then the 8th of December. And of course, this is an 18-month programme, but those are the key dates for this year, for 2021. So in terms of the mentors' participation, our expectation is that this will be a big commitment for our mentors, so they will be compensated for their time. We have a budget of giving £300 per month to a mentor who is able to support 2 mentees. So that's 4 hours in a given month, and £150 per month if you're supporting 1 mentee. And then for the ad hoc mentoring, there's a budget there of £75 an hour. So it's recognising that this is a commitment that our mentors are going to be given back to, and hopefully you'll gain loads from being involved in this programme as well. But it's compensating you for your time out of the organisation to help other leaders across the sector. For those of you who are still interested, and hopefully everybody in this room will be, you can register your interest by filling in a short form on SurveyMonkey to say that you'd like to become a mentor, and then we'll follow up with you separately. And we're asking for our mentors and our mentees to have completed the register of interest by the 12th of February, and then the next couple of weeks it'll be the selection, the meet and greet, and then ultimately the matching period. So I am conscious that I've spent probably about 15 minutes talking at you now. So what we'll do is we'll break for about 5-10 minutes, and it's an opportunity at your virtual table just to share any thoughts that you may have on the programme. And because I'm sharing my screen, I'm not able to see if there's already any questions or comments that have come through. And then what we'll do after about 10 minutes, we'll come back and I'll answer any questions that anybody may have. So, for us, it's what's your motivation for becoming a mentor? What are your thoughts on the programme overall? And do you think that there's anything that we have missed that should be included? So we'll stop now for a short break. If I can work out how to go back into, so I'm going to take present off, and we'll come back in about 10 minutes time. Thank you.